Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for October 6th. In 1834, Stephen F. Austin wrote a letter to his brother-in-law, James Perry, in which he appeared very depressed, stating that he had few friends in Mexico City, that his countrymen were against him, and that Mexican officials doubted he was an agent of Texas. In a letter to Samuel M. Williams about this time, he asked that a letter from his supporters be sent to Mexico City. At the time he wrote, Peter W. Grayson and Spencer H. Jack were on their way to Mexico City with such a petition. You know what might make a really interesting miniseries as well would be to follow the Stephen F. Austin and the perspective of him through the colonial period with his father Moses up through the Revolution and to his death. That could be an interesting perspective. In 1839, a duel took place between Benjamin McCulloch and Reuben Ross. There had been an earlier spat between McCulloch and Alonzo Schweitzer during an Indian pursuit, when Schweitzer refused to accept McCulloch's challenge. Later, Ross delivered a challenge from Schweitzer, which McCulloch refused. The code of honor required that Ross had to tender himself in his friend's stead. In the duel, Ross shot first, hitting McCulloch's right arm. Both men declared that honor had been satisfied and departed as friends. It is interesting that neither man was prosecuted, even though there was a state law against dueling at the time. In 1851, William P. Bill Longley was born in Austin County. As a young man, Longley claimed to have killed several people, including some blacks, but many of these killings are questionable. Later in his career, he and accomplices did kill at least 8 people and terrorized much of Texas. In June 1877, Longley was arrested in Louisiana and returned to Texas, where he was convicted of murder on September 5, 1877. On October 11, 1878, before a huge crowd, Longley was executed in Giddings. In 1855, the Callahan expedition came to an end. On July 5th, Governor Elisha M. Peace had authorized James H. Callahan to raise a force to push Indians for raids into South Texas. To punish Indians for raids into South Texas, if I could read today. Not long before, about 3,000 U.S. troops had been moved from the Texas frontier to Kansas to suppress violence there, and lawlessness near the border had become serious. Callahan and about 110 men crossed into Mexico on October 3rd near Piedras Negras, where they skirmished with Mexican forces. To cover his retreat, Callahan ordered houses in Piedras Negras to be set afire. The expedition forces crossed back into Texas near Fort Duncan the same day. The purpose of the expedition was to stop Lipan Apaches from raiding, but historians later asserted that its real objective was to regain fugitive slaves who had fled to Mexico. A U.S. Claims Commission in 1876 awarded about 150 Mexican citizens a total of $50,000 in damages. In 1868, Hemisphere 68 ended in San Antonio, 6 months after its April 6th opening. Although it was not a financial success, it focused on international attention on the city and the state. The first official international expedition in the southwestern United States. It commemorated the 250th anniversary of the founding of San Antonio. And that, my friend, was your Texas History Roundup for October 6th. I hope you appreciated that one, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow. All right, you take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition. Protect the legacy. Until next time.